everybody, welcome back to another business analysis video. I know I've missed 2 weeks of uploads, but I've been super busy at work because I started a new role, so it's been super busy, but I'm happy I finally found some time today to record this, as in my last video I did promise that I will be uploading a video on a process map. So in today's video I will be showing you a flowchart on a HR project which I'm currently working on, and this flowchart will be showing a function within the HR system. So to start off, I will be showing you a swim lane diagram, which is a type of flowchart which distinguishes between various functions. It shows who does what in a process. So in this process, I'm focusing on the rewards system and how it interacts with other functions within the HR system. So let's dive right into the process flow diagram mapping. Right, so this is Lucidchart, and to start off, there are different ways you can access or start. You can start by hitting new to start a new diagram. And this is where I access documents that I've already mapped. Let's look at templates. Select different templates depending on what you're trying to map. Flowcharts, swim lane diagrams, which is what we're doing today. Like I mentioned, the swim lane is a type of flowchart that usually distinguishes who does what in a process. So to start, let's click on build flowchart, and then I can identify what I would like to map. I'm building a swim lane. Swim lane is drawn like like the swimming pool lanes, so it helps to identify the stakeholders or the various functions so that you can clearly show who does what in that process. What is my goal? My goal is to draw a rewards process, to draw the rewards process and identify the interaction between or within, let's leave it as between, other HR functions. That's my goal. I'm also looking to identify pain points to determine options for solution automation. Am I saying something right here? So we're trying to determine various options where we can automate the manual processes or and make the process more efficient. Yeah, so that's my goal. I also like to know who are the users. I always want to know that. So who are the stakeholders? Is good to identify this like as a note, just a separate note. And my stakeholders here, my main stakeholders are the rewards team. Yep, rewards team. Within HR, we also have the HR ops, HR operations, and I also have the managers. I also have payroll and the benefits team. And then I also want to know, what do I know currently? What do I know? So currently I know that this is just my personal notes. I would like to before you map your processes, obviously you've you would have spoken to the users or the stakeholders and identified with them, worked through with them what their processes are, right? Otherwise, you have nothing to map. So prior to that, I always want to know, what do I know? So what do I know? And in order for me to identify my what do I know, I like to use a use case diagram. Now this is another this is another video, I think. But in order to save time anyway, so that I don't have to draw out a use case diagram in this video, what I know currently is that the rewards team gather employee details on a spreadsheet, and then the details are gathered from different sections within the business, and then they add this onto one spreadsheet, and in order to apply the rewards onto that employee, they have to split the spreadsheets according to the manager's function or according to the department, you know, and then email these separate spreadsheets, which could be up to how many departments, let's say up to 20, let's say, departments, or 20 managers, or 80. In my instance, it's around 80, I think. And then they email these separate emails to each manager. Yep, and then the manager completes, sorry about my spelling, I'm talking and typing at the same time, so please. The manager completes the details onto the spreadsheet and then send it back to rewards team. However, between these two, there are also approval processes among other functions before that spreadsheet is accepted. So I know that. I also want to identify my decision points. This will affect the approval process, or the approval steps within the process. Yep. Sometimes I identify it as I start to map. Okay, that's done. Let's now go on to map our process. So this has already been sort of added. I don't know what these things are. I don't know, man. So you know what, I'm just going to create an entire new one and just add it myself. You know, sometimes it's easier to do it that way. You can use the you can use the templates, but I prefer to just do this, guys, because that template is stressing me out a little bit. Yep. So here you want to identify what your topic is, rewards as is process. Yep. And these are the lanes. You're also, you know, you can also have the vertical lane or the horizontal, depending on your preference, what you like to do. Right. And you can also add extra lanes by selecting the swim lane and then adding to insert a lane above or below. See, so that adds extra lanes to it. So we've titled our process and now begin to identify the functions. Let's have the rewards process here, and the managers, hiring managers possibly. So to start the process, we would use this shape. I usually would like to enter the beginning of my process onto this, whereas some people, it's preference really, some people would make that a start and then start the process here to say collate all employee details, but I prefer to add it here because this is where it starts from. So this process starts at the beginning, at the beginning, at the start of the year. Collate all employee data from a system, and then once they collate all the data, this is collated in a spreadsheet, and then they split spreadsheets according to function or department, and then once they split this, they send it to the manager, right? So I'm going to add another one. Send spreadsheet to manager. I'm just going to add my arrow. I don't know why that's not there. We go. I also like to identify how they send the spreadsheet. Is it sent automatically via the system, or is it sent via email? You know, so I like to identify. Let's use this one. I think this is a bigger one, really, to be honest. I like to identify here that is sent by email, but let's use a smaller one. I'm just going to add this here so they know it's via email. And then once the manager receives this, let's draw this lower. The manager receives and then they input recommendations onto the spreadsheet, yeah? Now, this, I'm going to break this down to what do they input on there. So the spreadsheet, during my requirements gathering, I have viewed the spreadsheet, and there are various sections on there where the manager is making recommendations for an employee to be promoted, for example, or to change their role title, which a lot of time will include a salary review. However, if this only includes recommendation for a benefit, for example, then there probably wouldn't be a salary review. Anyway, so I'm adding my decision point, salary review. If there is a salary review, yes, then they add the salary increase reason onto. I can just make this bigger because it's extending. So they add the salary reason. If yes, add salary increase reason. If no, they submit the review. So once they add the salary review reason, and then they submit, right? Submit spreadsheet. So submit completed spreadsheet. Yep. If no salary review, they just submit that, right? So we've had one. So they submit this to complete completed spreadsheets to approver, APPROVER, to the approver. So the approver, I'm just going to, it could be the CEO, So on my process, there are different approvers, but to make this short, let's just call this approver. There's an approval process. So they receive this, they email this to, right, no, there's something I missed, So once they submit this to, they submit this back to rewards, then rewards will collate, because we're trying to identify pain points as well, right? So it goes back to rewards, who then collates the spreadsheet. So each manager will complete theirs. They receive the individual spreadsheets. So they then collate all spreadsheets into one single source. So this manager side is different managers with this initial split spreadsheet, right? So they collect that into one single source and then they send it off to the approver. Right. And send to approver to approve, yeah? So they also send this via email. I'm just gonna copy this and paste it. Paste it, right? So one thing with this Lucidchart, there's just, it doesn't automatically extend. I don't know if Lucidchart does that, extends the page, extend, you see? So you can extend the page if you're gonna have longer, if the swim lane is much longer, right? So look at that, looks so nice, so nice. So the approver receives spreadsheets. So once the approver receives the spreadsheet, they review the recommendations, right? For the salary increase. Does this make sense? Is this person entitled to salary increase? You know, is their performance review up to par? You know, review recommendations, and this leads to another decision points. Yep, approve yes or no. If yes, submit to reward. They submit it to the rewards team. If yes, submit. You know, so it's like, yeah, we're fine with that. You can carry on. You can carry on with the salary increase allocation. If no, we send it back to, so they submit it to rewards team, and then the rewards team will apply benefits, apply the salary increase, and then update it onto the system. Let's just make it short. Apply salary, or just apply recommendations onto the system, end. So like I said at the start, I would usually just do this instead, apply recommendations onto system, right? How do you spell recommendations? So that's that for that. So that's the end of that process. They apply it onto the system, right? And then if no, they challenge where necessary. This is what they do. If they don't approve, challenge where necessary. What part of the spreadsheets do they not agree with, right? Challenge where necessary onto that spreadsheet, and then send that to receive challenge reasons, right? And then they send it back, and it goes all the way back to here, right? It goes all the way back to here. I'm trying not to. Right, so you see how messy this sort of looks. So what I like to do in order to prevent too many arrows on a swim lane, what I like to do is I create, or I usually do this on Visio, but let's see. I would add a connector. That's what that's called. Connector. And this just connects to this, right? So I'm going to put this here. Connect it there. Look at that. Just look at that. I love process mapping. So you see, the arrows, adding a connector prevents the arrows, prevents from having confusion on the process. You know, when your stakeholder is possibly reviewing your process maps, it just has a clearer representation of connecting points, right? Another thing that I forgot to highlight here, like I mentioned, we're trying to automate and increase and get better efficiency, you know, reduce manual workload on the users. So one pain point was this one. What I like to do is I sometimes, on Lucidchart, I would highlight it in red so that we know that that's a pain point. In Visio, I would usually have a triangle, like a red triangle. Let's see if I can find it here. And I would use that as, you know, yeah, we could use one of these actually. Hopefully it's not big. Oh, no, we can't. Actually, let's see if we can make it smaller. Not bad. So I would add that here. And also I would have a box somewhere within that to, so this is how I would identify my pain points with the triangles. Yeah, so this is how I would identify my pain points so that once we're interacting with stakeholders, we can clearly see that this is where the issue lays. This is where our issue lays. This is what we don't like. They don't like to split spreadsheets. It takes forever to split the spreadsheets into 40 managers, for different 40 managers. It takes forever to use my eyes to go through each of the columns on the Excel sheets, a couple or so. But that's the process done. I hope you've gained something from this. I hope you've sort of seen one aspect of business analysis, what we do. This is one of my favorite parts because I now start to see and have that visual representation, and I go away to work on my own to actually start creating something so that we can work to improve pain points, make things better, add value, you know. That's the end of my video. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Please do like, subscribe, and share the video. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching my videos, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like and share with anybody who you think might find this content usable for them. Thanks for watching. Peace.